Good morning. Minokishep Kinaguya. Wasesh Kakwe Ndigo Nimkibaneshi Stadem. Good morning. My name is Danette Restoule, and I work for ANCFSAO. And I've been there a few years now, about four plus years, I guess. And so, what I'm going to share with you this morning is we're preparing for Anti-Bully Week, and with the pink T-shirts and practicing kindness. And so they've asked me to do some sharing on that perspective, and also how could we incorporate the seven grandfather teachings into this topic. And I think it's so wonderful because it's so appropriate. And when we think about bullying, it's not a very pleasant thing to happen. Um, People can get hurt, with bullying, not just physically but emotionally also, and mentally. And my grandmother used to say, "Sticks and stones can break my bones." But names, can't hurt me. But, but she also talked about Guy Nish's no, it's not good to, to bully people or call them down. Maybe they don't do things as well as you do. And so, it's so easy sometimes to judge and criticize other people's efforts. And and the whole issue about bullying, like about the struggle of power, that want to overpower people and boss them around maybe, or telling them what to do. And maybe it's racism that's behind that. We hear so much of it in the schools, that young children being bullied and getting hurt, and some people get seriously hurt and even die from being bullied. They get killed, and that's not a good thing to happen. So it's always important that we tell someone if those kinds of things are happening, especially in the schools, to be able to tell your teacher, maybe the principal, and because nobody likes to live in fear. Nobody likes to be belittled, and nobody wants to be hurt. And it really affects the self-esteem and self-worth of an individual. So it's not a very pleasant thing to experience. So I wanted to talk about that. You know, I guess the most important thing is to tell somebody about what's happening. And it's hard to stand up to bullies sometimes. Other people sometimes don't want to get involved because they fear they're going to get bullied, or other things. They'll do other things to you or your family. It's all about that power and control that, if you tell on them, then they don't like it, right? So, kindness, just know it's not good. And in the language, that me getting a kitty on by, kindness, just know, modest. It's not good to hurt your fellow human being that way. I guess for me, it's an honor and a privilege to walk this journey in the physical realm. And I think we all have a responsibility to share the land, to share the time, and that we have here. And, the ongoing responsibility to every living thing on earth, like the plant life, the tree life, and us as human beings, that we have to coexist and share the space and the time that we have. and sometimes even people will hurt animals, and those are living things also that are part of creation. They might be the four-legged or the two-legged or the swimmers and flyers and stuff like that. They have a purpose here too, and it's not for us to be judgmental and to hurt them because they are part of the big picture. Hey, Monthly Wiat, they're here for a reason too, as part of the food chain of the animals, and animals are here to provide for us also, especially a long time ago. So we didn't hurt them, and so sometimes I think we forget about those things, and it's important that we remember them or find out about them. So I'm going to talk about the seven grandfather teachings that were given to us. And, they were given to us I call them life's principles. Migini Asian, Bishigen Mawid Batama. This is what I like to talk about because they're very simple teachings. There's no huge complexity. You don't have to go to university to know them. You don't have to buy anything to be able to use them. It's part of who you are. And if we don't know them, and as we begin to discover them or find out and learn about them, they become a part of you. And going then, and this is why the Creator gave these teachings to us, so that we can live a harmonious life with um, with all of the peoples. So to learn about kindness, I think is really important. When we talk about um, wisdom, that's the one of the first ones. They say that to know wisdom means that you understand and live the other six teachings of love, humility, bravery, um, to be able to practice those and learn from them and understand them. And sometimes we have to make a conscious effort. Anyway, we must like to be able to walk in a good way. And as I greet the day and go to work and meet people, um, I'm going to be conscious of how I treat people. And the other thing that's really important about this is how I treat myself. Everything always begins with us. Hina tam, that we honor and respect ourselves as human beings. And when we do that, then it's easy for us to respect others because we know what it feels like to respect myself by taking care of me. Um, your health, your overall well-being is really important. Your emotional well-being, your spiritual well-being, your emotional and physical well-being. Those are all important because there are four elements of our being. That's what makes us, your mind and your intellectual, mental well-being, your spiritual well-being, your physical well-being. If any of those things are not being looked after or they're not well, maybe you're sick, then your physical well-being is going through that process. And when we are not well physically, it affects us emotionally. Sometimes we're feeling in a bad way because we're frustrated. Maybe you're dealing with pain and those kinds of things. If you were dealing with that for a little while, it begins to affect your mental well-being. And you can begin to experience, if it was long term, maybe depression, and your outlook in life begins to not be so positive, it becomes negative. And so that'll drag you down little bit by little bit over time. And then your spiritual well-being is our connection to the universe, to all of this that we have, that we understand that, you know, there is something bigger than you and me. Like you might call him God or the creator or whatever religious background you might be familiar with. So we have to understand um, that we didn't get here just by ourselves, like we didn't just appear and pop up. You know, there's a process. You know how we were conceived and being born and being raised and sharing this space and being on this journey, and that we need to honor that. Excuse me. So all of those elements of our being are very, very important. And if we look after all of those, like the respect, the humility, and to be brave, when we talk about bravery, we talk about being brave to face what has happened or what we have done, and to do that with courage, because you can't escape it. At sooner or later, it's going to confront you where you're going to have to deal with it. So the sooner the better, I guess, like in terms of saying, yeah, I was responsible, for that action or whatever, and I need to own it and take responsibility for it. And, to be able to make amends by apologizing, if you've hurt somebody in the process. Um, so that's, I think one of the hardest things that we do, because we automatically, you feel like, you don't wanna face that, eh? But just to be able to have that courage to do it, and because everybody else knows you did it. Let's say somebody's seen you or whatever, so, and we can't lie to our spirit. We may lie to other people, but, we can't lie to ourselves. It only goes so far where we can feel that, nobody knows, only I know, so, I don't have to do anything about it, eh? So when we talk about, those, and to be honest and truthful, to be honest with yourself, everything, like I said, everything begins with us. If you lie to yourself, "Ngaginish kidiyan," like you say, "Oh no, that's not really important," or whatever, but it is. And you say, "It'll go away. It's not that bad." And we try to minimize, some of these things or whatever. Um, it's not really being honest, practicing honesty. And how can we practice something that, how can we teach and model honesty when we don't even do it ourselves? Everything begins with us. And being truthful and to be truthful and trustworthy. A lot of times people depend on us, to look after them or to support them. And, they do that because they trust us, because they've seen us being truthful about, our situation, somebody else's situation, or being compassionate. And, so they feel comfort with that. So they're going to trust us. And so that's being truthful. And another way to do it is to look at that is what you say and do should be the same. It's not like I'm going to say this, but I act differently. You know, it's called being congruent. And to put a word to it, nonstop, nonstop. What you say and do should be all the same. It's even. It's not like mandanga kit. It's sometimes I think about politicians. They'll make all these promises when it's time to campaign. We always see that in the news, but, after they get in office, let's say, that's not necessarily what we see unfold, eh? And because it's not congruent kind of thing, eh? And it's not being truthful either. So, and it's not being honest, by, saying you're going to do certain things and you don't do it, eh? And people will lose trust from you, and people will lose respect. If that's something they observe of you over different times. And so when we begin, and love is another important thing. Um, we have to have love in our hearts, or experience love, or know what love is to us in order for us to give it and receive it. You can't give something you don't have. That there's a saying out there. It's like, if I didn't have any, how can I give you oranges when I don't have any oranges? It's that same thing. If I don't have love in my heart, how can I give it, and how can I receive it, or how can I recognize it if it's something that I'm not feeling it, kind of thing, and feeling good about it. And they say that love will conquer almost anything, even big losses, and when we lose loved ones, it's that love that you felt for that individual. That's why you feel the loss so deeply. But because you love that person so much, it helps, be able to move on from that afterwards, kind of thing. And the love of people, the love of animals, the love of your family, no matter what, because family is family. They're your siblings, they're your parents, or your aunties and uncles, cousins. So you love them as family, but sometimes it's the behavior that they're doing is not what it's the thing that we don't love. Jingen dan mabeshtiget, you know, saga, so they'll talk about, I don't like what that person is doing, but they're still my family and I still love them because I care for them. I care very deeply for them and what happens to them. But this other part of them, I wish that would go away, and I wish they would understand, they're hurting themselves as well as they're hurting us by not, loving themselves the same way to look after themselves, eh? So love is, a really powerful thing. Love can get through, poverty. Like when we love our families, we don't have to have or show love by materialistic things. Kichipitenma. You have them in high regard, and you do what you can to support them and to help them learn and grow and be the best that you can be. And that's what life is all about. I think about Ningonageni, this is the way I look at it, is the quality of the individual, the quality of how I feel about myself. I'm happy. I love myself because I take care of myself. I respect myself because I don't do things that are going to hurt me. I I respect other people. As all equals. We all have different responsibilities in our lives, whether it be in the family system or in the work system. But we're all equal human beings. That we share the space with so many other people, and being humble that I'm no better. I don't put myself on a pedestal. I share what I know and do the best I can to help others by doing it that way, because they are my learning experiences. They are things that I've been shown, or maybe that I've been taught, or that experience that I've had in my life is something that somebody else might benefit from hearing, and so that it could help them through a difficult time. And to be able to celebrate who we are as a people. I'm an Anishinaabe. I'm a mother. I'm a grandmother. I am a wife to my husband. I'm a sister to my siblings. I'm a niece to many aunties and uncles, and so there's so many people that we're connected with immediately. And so you want to be able to demonstrate, all of those teachings to them. So because they have done for you, especially when we are babies and little toddlers, and they help us learn how to walk and learn how to talk and maybe learn how to sing, and going to the powwow and letting us dance at the powwow and making our little dresses or whatever kind of thing. They've helped and shown us. They brought us this far in our life. So why would I have the need to bully if I have all of those things? Maybe there's something missing in terms of an area that's not fulfilled in our lives in those four elements that we have: our mental well-being, our spiritual well-being, our emotional well-being, and our physical well-being. What part of that, maybe is lacking? Maybe it's something that you need to spend some time with to get to know a little bit better, and wish you could do better, or wish you could understand it a little better. And so maybe that's where the bullying has been born, or maybe you've been bullied before and you grew up with bullying. And, so every now and again, it's really good to stop and take inventory and reflect on your journey and what does it look like? What has it taught you? What else do I need to learn? And am I being kind to all living things on creation on this earth? And if I'm not, why do I hate, let's say, snakes? Because I know for myself that they always scare me. Like, I think they startle me more than anything. So I don't really like them. And because other animals, you can hear them coming, or the movement of them, you can tell there's an animal there, whatever. So you prepare yourself to, oh, there's a partridge there walking around on the road or whatever. You see that movement kind of thing, eh? um so it's being able to take a look at that and try and understand, why do I do the things that I do? But bullying hurts, and there's been very sad stories about bullying, that people even end their life because they've been bullied so much. And that's a really sad situation when things get that far. So we don't want to do that. It's not for us to damage somebody's human spirit to the point where they give up and they feel that there's no way out, um, kind of thing. And so I encourage everyone who's experiencing form of bullying, to be able to talk to someone, reach out to somebody and share it with them so that you don't feel so alone. Sometimes there's things that can be done to curb the bullying, sometimes not, but at least you're looking out for yourself, and, not to allow that to destroy you, because you have every right to be here. The Creator has put you here, and so is the people that are bullying and stuff like that. So I just want to wish you, I hope that the little bit of sharing that I've done, just to be able to incorporate, the seven grandfather teachings, are four elements of life, to be able to look at it maybe from those perspectives, and just, and know that retaliation is not really the answer. Hopefully, we could just walk away peacefully from this, and those situations, and maybe let the experts deal with them, or consult with the experts on how you can deal with them. and if they show up in your lives, as a parent and as grandparent, that's the last thing anybody wants to see, that their children are being bullied. And because we know what it does, we could see it, we could feel it, we can, when they come home and, they're crying or they're upset or they're angry, and we feel really helpless. And so it doesn't just hurt one individual, it hurts a lot of people, because the people that love the ones that are being bullied too are also affected with that. So it's not a positive thing that we want to see. So I just want to say chmiigwech, mama pi mino kanbochin. Um, take care and take good care of yourself, mama pi. Miigwech.